Hey, pastors, I want to talk to you about a better future. I want to talk to you about a preferred future, actually. For me, a preferred future in the church is where people are passionately pursuing God and helping others pursue God. It's where an army of people are trained and equipped to serve the church and to serve people outside the church. It's where we have kind of an Acts 2 setting where people are in small groups, real communities going on, real support, real encouragement. It's a place where parents are discipling their own kids and their kids are growing up to follow God and helping others follow God. It's a church where we are reaching out to our community and we're making a difference in our towns and in our cities. And I know that that's what you want too. You really desire for God to work in and through your church and through your ministry. But in order for that to happen, we need to talk about something. And here it is. I just want to get right to it. We need to talk about moving from the main doer of ministry in your church to the main equipper of ministry. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Moving from the main doer of ministry to the main equipper of ministry. And I want to give you kind of 4 action steps you need to take for that to happen. Now, the first step is you need to put on a new set of glasses. And by that, I mean you need a new perspective and you need a new vision and you need to see your role differently. Because the statistics don't lie. The statistics are telling us that pastors are getting stressed out, they're getting bummed out, they're getting burned out, and they're starting to walk out of our churches like never before. And I think part of that is just there's so much pressure and so much burden on the pastor to do so much. So I want to encourage you to put on some new glasses. Now, when you put on some new glasses, here would be the second action step, and that would be to look in the mirror. Because all good leaders are willing to look in the mirror first. And the reason why I say look in the mirror is we need to start reevaluating the kind of model we were taught. It's kind of gone on for generations and decades. And that old model is this, is that the pastor is the center of everything, the key to everything. Everything has to flow through the pastor, to the pastor, outside of the pastor. And because of that, we've become actually the bottleneck of ministry. It's kind of like the pastor is the glue that keeps everybody together, the fuel that brings movement, to the church. The pastor is the wool that keeps everybody warm. He's the chaplain. He's the teacher. He's the financial counselor. I mean, we have to do so many things today, and because of that, not as much is getting done. And so not only do we need to put on new glasses for a new perspective, we need to look in the mirror and say, hey, is this really working? Is my church becoming the kind of place where people are pursuing God and helping others pursue God? Do I have a boatload of people in my church that are serving the Lord on a regular, consistent basis? And for a lot of us, the answer might be no. And so that's going to lead me to the third action step. You need to go back to the original. What I mean by that is we need to get back to our original God-given job description. In Ephesians 4:11 and 12, listen to what the Apostle Paul says. Ephesians 4:11 and 12. Christ himself gave the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the pastors and teachers to equip his people for works of service so that the body of Christ might be built up. You see, Pastor, we were never called or commissioned to be doers of ministry. We were called and commissioned by Christ himself to be the equippers and the empowerers and the unleashers of ministry. I mean, I like to say this, that my job is to get God's people to do their job. And so I really want to encourage you that we need to get back to the original. We've got to get back to our original job description. Now, the fourth action step is this, is that you need a different scorecard. And here's what I mean. We've got to evaluate a win differently. For example, a win is no longer that you lead all the ministry. A win now is that you are a leader of leaders. In other words, you've developed so many leaders that a win actually happens not when you succeed, but when they succeed, when they lead their teams well, when they lead their small groups well. And success is defined not so much about how you did that week, but how your people did that week. that they are using their gifts and abilities that God has given them. They're serving in their areas of giftedness. It's making a powerful difference inside and outside the church. And so a triumph isn't that you had a good day. A triumph really turns into they had a good day. Because really, a healthy church is going to have a broad foundation. And a broad foundation is Christ. And built upon Christ is a bunch of leaders passionate about Jesus Christ. And so I don't want to be in a church where I'm the only leader. I want to be in a church where there's a whole bunch of leaders. So let me ask you a few questions. Do you spend more time in your week getting yourself ready for ministry, or do you spend more time equipping people to lead ministry? Do you spend more time of your week training yourself so that you can function in the task that you have? Or do you spend more time of your week training others so they can lead in their ministry areas? And so here's my encouragement to you. I just really pray that God does a lot in and through your church. But in order for that to happen, we got to be different. So I want to encourage you to put on some new glasses and to have courage to look in the mirror. And then to say, you know what, I need to get back to my original job description. And when I do that, then I need to have a different scorecard. And when I have a different scorecard, then I will operate differently, and so will the people that I serve.